that and upload your digital images. That's the very latest.
NBC 6 News at 6 starts right now.
Life after Hurricane Francis. The storm sat on Florida's east coast for what seemed like an eternity.
For more than a day, Francis inched through the state, dumping heavy rains across the peninsula. And Florida isn't in the clear just yet. Now, a tropical storm, Francis, caused flooding and power outages on the west coast and then brought more to the panhandle.
Back on the East Coast today, we're getting the first look at damage from Francis. This is the Lake Worth Pier that was split in half in some places and then torn up in others. And Chopper 6 is still flying at this hour, surveying the damage across South Florida. We're finding damaged buildings, boats, sand on roads, downed trees, and much more that will take some time to clean up.
And our cameras are also capturing damage on the ground. We're talking about wrecked mobile homes, downed signs, and uprooted trees. Good evening, everyone. I'm Julia Yarbo. Jackie Nesbro has the night off.
And I am Tony Segreto. Tonight we shift from riding out the storm to recovering after its aftermath. And while the cleanup gets underway in the wake of Hurricane Francis, we now begin that tedious and slow task of getting life back to normal. Francis is being blamed for 4 deaths. That number includes Bowden Madden and John Madden, the son and the grandson and son-in-law of Bobby Bowden, Florida State University's head football coach. The 2 were killed in Quincy, Florida after a head-on collision with a truck on its way to help with Hurricane Francis recovery efforts. 88,000 people are still in shelters. That includes Georgia and South Carolina. In fact, the entire state is still under a state of emergency. Now, at last word, 1.7 million people were without power. 8,000 National Guard troops have been deployed throughout the state. And President Bush has declared a state of emergency in areas affected by Hurricane Francis, making them eligible for federal aid. And now, something none of us want to think about. Another hurricane. But there is another potential threat to Florida. His name, Ivan. Meteorologist John Giraldi joins us now with the very latest on the hurricane. John?
All right, Tony, first thing I want to say is remember, Ivan is still many, many miles away from South Florida, so just relax. The best thing you want to do right now is stay informed. Here's the very latest. He's actually weakening right now. The winds at 5 o'clock dropped to 105 miles per hour, now down to a Category 2 storm. Motion off to the west-northwest at 22 miles per hour, and it's currently 305 miles to the east-southeast of Barbados. Let me show you where Ivan is. Here we are in South Florida. There's Ivan way out here east of the outer islands, and the reason why it's been weakening, it's going through some shear out of the southwest because there's an upper level low out towards the west. And I also want to mention right now that hurricane warnings are in effect from St. Lucia, Barbados, all the way down towards the south, because this storm, there's the center right in there, is going to be affecting those outer islands during the day tomorrow. Now, the big question is, where's it going to be going from here? It's probably going to be re-intensifying over the next several days, staying south of Puerto Rico on Wednesday. That's Puerto Rico coming close to Haiti and the Dominican Republic on Thursday. And then high pressure is located to the north. If it stays strong, it could actually go off to our south. However, if the high actually weakens and moves a little bit farther east, then it would go around the perimeter of the high, and then it would most likely strike somewhere across the east coast of the United States. We just don't know right now. Just stay informed the next several days, and I would definitely resupply your hurricane supplies in case you use some of them, just in case you may have to use them again later in the weekend. Much more on our local forecast is coming up in a few minutes. Take it away, guys.
All right, John, thank you. And with another potential hurricane threat, many of you may be wondering, should you leave your shutters up? Well, experts say if you decide not to take them down, you should at least take down a few of the ones that are easy to reach. And of course, that would provide a safety access and entrance in case of fire or some other type of emergency. But for now, at least, the Hurricane Ivan will have to take a backseat to the aftermath of everything that we're seeing with Francis.
That's while we continue to try to return life back to normal throughout South Florida. We have NBC 6 team coverage on the cleanup in the wake of Francis. We begin with Michael Williams, who is live in Martin County tonight. And Michael, after looking at it firsthand, it could have been a lot worse.
Certainly could have. Not the Category 4 storm it once was, but indeed bad enough for all of that. We're looking behind me toward Hutchinson Island. We're in Sewell's Point, police manning the traffic intersections, the lights not working, power just beginning to be restored to tens of thousands of people in Martin County. You look at the fickle hand of nature here. One building, if you look just at the cleaners and the realty office, looks as though it had never been touched by a storm. A few feet away, though, a roof tossed about by Francis. One big storm, but in reality, it is always the aftermath of a storm that is made up by the small personal stories of frustration, heartache, and perseverance. The day after Francis and its slow, damaging march across Florida, broken rooftops, debris-filled and in some cases water-soaked streets, and in Palm City today, Labor Day plans on ice, or rather electricity-starved residents in search of ice that never came, leaving some here at the boiling point.
A truck, I guess, is not coming from Jacksonville. No ice.
If we were Palm Beach County, we'd get ice. Yeah, I'm telling you, if we were Palm Beach County, you've heard nothing on the radios about Palm City at all. We're sitting here with nothing, and everybody else is getting. St. Lucie County gets coverage, and Palm Beach County gets coverage, and Martin County, we're sitting here in Palm City. Half of us don't even have water because we're all on wells, and we have nothing. What am I supposed to do with my kids? You know, this storm's been over, and we have nothing.
Predictably, Francis ate up huge chunks of Florida's coastline. You can see evidence of that here in Martin County on Hutchinson Island. Decks that fell in under the combination of wind and waves and beachfront erosion. But the homes held up relatively well here, all a reminder that we're lucky Francis roared ashore as far less than the Category 4 hurricane it once was out at sea. A weakened storm, but more than strong enough to test the patience and mettle of millions of Floridians like those lining up for a chance at gasoline on the Florida Turnpike in Palm Beach County.
Just hanging in there, but it's rough.
How long you been waiting in line for gas?
Oh man, about an hour and a half.
A very long road ahead for some, including Michelle and Lisa Sabernin. Their photo and art studio in Sewell's Point, called The Real Moment, was destroyed by a moment they'll never forget.
We're alive and our house is okay. This is, you know, this is six months of work that we were going to open in a few weeks.
It's just surreal, indescribable experience, really. We're just, you know, focusing on we're together and we're healthy and somehow we'll do it, you know. I don't know how, but we'll just day at a time.
Somehow they will do it one day at a time. The sentiment being shared by so many in the Sunshine State today, whether it's one day at a time to clean up the debris, restore power, which is beginning for many tens of thousands of people, and that's just in Martin County alone, or restoring a livelihood, a hope, a dream, a business. For this couple that you just heard from, the Sauvignons, very tough because they walked up to their store, said it looks like it's relatively okay, but when they saw the roof tossed about, they said, we had the worst fears that were realized when they walked inside. But again, they say they will persevere like so many others in our state today. Reporting live from Martin County, Michael Williams, NBC 6.
One day at a time. Michael, thank you. And from Michael Williams in Martin County, we had South Nada Willard Shepard. He continues our team coverage from Palm Beach County. Willard.
Good evening to you, Tony. Just a snapshot of what we've seen throughout the day. This tree over here on my left here in the southern portion of Palm Beach County. This is kind of what it looks like dotting the landscape here throughout this area. There are about 560,000 people in this area that do not have any power, so that's going to be another difficult night for them without air conditioning, without any kind of electricity. We are seeing the traffic lights come back up to speed. When we arrived at this particular location earlier in the day, that light was not working, but we've seen the Florida Power and Light crews out working hard throughout the course of the day and the evening. And over here, we can show you just an aggravation, a thunderstorm still rolling through the area. You can see the evidence of the heavy rain right over there, and they're having a difficult time here getting back to normal.
Well, the thing that I find, I mean, this thing was just like in all of them, pretty much.
Gwen Hagenbaumer rode out the storm in southern Palm Beach County and was very lucky that this gigantic tree didn't come crashing into her mother's home. It did hit the house next door, and now Gwen and her 3 kids are roughing it. They can't go back to their own home in Port St. Lucie.
It's kind of unnerving. We're not able to get in contact with any of our neighbors. We have had a little bit of contact with a few of our friends. We're trying to conserve our cell phone. batteries, which are almost gone. But as far as my house, I really don't have any idea.
From the air, you can see the pounding Palm Beach County took. Mobile home parks are in shambles. France has forced 18,000 residents into shelters. 2,000 of them still don't have a place to go. Boats at marinas across the county are damaged, tossed around in the high winds and heavy surf. All over the county, there are damaged homes, apartments, and condominiums. At the airport, the top of this hangar was shredded like a tin can. Now, at the beginning of the day here in Palm Beach County, there were more than 500,000 people that did not have any power. These crews from Florida Power and Light have been working almost around the clock out here to try to get the power back up to as many people as they possibly could. And they were doing it in order of priority. First of all, hospitals and those kinds of places that needed the power immediately or as quickly as they could get it. And then they'd work their way through residential neighborhoods. So no power at your house either?
No power at my house either. But I can't be worried about that. I have to worry about the people that I work for.
This is a lifeline for many in Palm Beach County. It's the Publix grocery store warehouse where they're loading milk, dairy products, and other items and sending them to the 77 stores in Palm Beach County.
That's 2.5 quarts.
Now, we were told tonight that 67 of those 77 stores are open now. Only 10 in the northern portion of the county that are not open. One of them located over here behind me that was able to open. You can kind of see the aggravation that people have when they try to head out to find ice, water, those kinds of things. This curfew will be in effect here in Palm Beach County. It starts at 8 o'clock, runs to 6 o'clock in the morning, and no school here in Palm Beach County tomorrow for the kids. That's the latest here in Boca Raton. Tony and Julia, back to you.
Well, thank you. Power slowly coming back on in Miami-Dade and Broward. As of 6 o'clock tonight, 196,700 Broward residents still without power, and in Miami-Dade, 67,300 remain in the dark. And across the state, 1.5 million are still without power.
And the other big question on many of our minds now that Francis has faded, where can we fill up our gas tanks? Well, fuel supplies in our area are finally getting back to normal after that storm-related run on the pumps led to long lines and short supplies. Nick Bogert is live in downtown Miami with a look at what drivers are now facing. Nick.
Well, the answer to the main question, is gas available? The answer is yes, though not at every station yet. But certainly, as you can see, the lines we saw late last week of people waiting to buy petroleum, well, those are gone. Now, have prices gone up? No is my provisional answer, at least not based on a spot price check of petroleum that we conducted around central Miami at midday. About 2/3 of stations we eyeballed had gas to give. The Shell station at Lejeune Road was limiting customers to a $15 buy, but 10 others we visited had no limits. 4 stations had baggies or apologies on the pump handles. The Chevron at Northwest 57th and 7th had petroleum but no power to pump, thanks to a downed line out back. The other 3 were simply awaiting delivery trucks. Tanker trucks are moving as fast as they can round the clock to resupply.
We deliver close to 9,000 gallons per location, so
a truckload.
A truckload.
But Max Alvarez's stations usually have about 4 truckloads of fuel on hand, so supplies are still short. But so far, demand is light because so many folks filled up before Francis.
I work at a hospital, so I had to be, just in case, be ready.
Alice Hamilton topping off again to make a quick run to Sarasota to be with her daughter.
She's in labor now.
3 tankers docked at Port Everglades this morning for the first time in 4 days. Tanker trucks are swarming to tank farms there, and state officials say local drivers have really helped ease the gas crunch.
Citizens heeded our advice and stayed off the road. It allowed us to get hundreds of trucks of fuel distributed yesterday in the South Florida area.
State officials hope Orlando area drivers will stay off the roads now to facilitate a similar tanker truck resupply in Central Florida. Those officials do have the authority to direct gas supplies to first responders or other vital energy users under an emergency order signed by the governor. Some local delivery trucks may be redirected to areas hardest hit by Francis, but storm-related spot shortages should not much impact the price of gas, according to Max Alvarez.
Anything more than 5 cents a gallon, I would consider the people are gouging.
Well, if you see a big price jump and you suspect gouging, the state attorney general has a hotline for you to call. It's 1-800-646-0444. Now, the more stations in our area that get resupplied, the more competition there is, the less likely price gouging is. And I didn't see a lot of prices that I would consider wildly out of line. But again, the number, 1-800-646-0444. We're live in Miami. Nick Bogert, NBC 6.
Nick, thank you. Much of Broward County still without power, as you know, tonight. So days after Francis moved through, and because of those power problems, the superintendent of Broward schools has canceled classes for tomorrow, and they have not yet decided when to resume school. The superintendent says that's for safety reasons. Teachers and students are asked to stay home until further notice. This also applies to parochial schools as well. They will be closed in Broward County tomorrow. However, the Pembroke Pines charter schools will be open.
I'm Diana Gonzalez. After being cooped up this weekend, some people are coming here to Miami Beach to shake off their cabin fever.
A major impact, Hurricane Francis, an impact on South Florida tourism. Check out this lineup of cruise ships, all in port because of the weather. That story coming up.
Closed captioning is brought to you in part by Palmetto Ford, your SUV Ford dealer. Give us a try before you buy. 305-592-FORD.
Palm Beach County, we continue to survey the damage after Hurricane Francis.
And we have been looking at images around the area. A lot of structural damage right there. We're looking at a number of boats. Obviously, we're hoping that this owner has good insurance as they survey the damage right along with us.
And here comes a flatbed to try and get that truck, that boat up and out of the water and see if they can salvage whatever they can from it. You know, if you feel like you've had cabin fever after the last few days, you're certainly not alone.
Yeah, we've been hearing this a lot from folks. Health Connection reporter Diana Gonzalez shows us that others out there are also being tired of being cooped up.
A breezy, sunny day, the perfect antidote to cabin fever.
Yes, couldn't stand to be inside anymore. So we decided to come out, and it's beautiful today.
The Switchboard of Miami counseled plenty of cooped up callers this weekend.
People that have just gone stir crazy, driving themselves and driving family members batty, just being indoors for 2 or 3 days.
Finally able to escape their shuttered caves, some headed to South Beach for a little surf, sun, and fresh air, pets included.
We were like stuck inside the house.
What was that like?
Boring. It was really boring.
As soon as the doors opened, families flocked to the Discovery Center in Fort Lauderdale.
Gotta get out of the house today. Little cabin fever.
The perfect place to release some pent-up energy.
Well, we've been indoors for like the past 5 days. He's been out since Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And so today I thought he'd stretch his legs and just run around and go crazy.
National Geographic's bravest scientists.
At the IMAX, a new movie opened, The Forces of Nature.
It covers volcanoes, tornadoes, and earthquakes, but it does not cover hurricanes.
We don't really need a movie for that. Diana Gonzalez, NBC 6.
No, we don't.
Well, still ahead, the cost of Francis.
What effect the storm has had on our own Florida tourism industry so far? We look for the answers when we come back.
Looking for your dream job? Need to make more money? It's time to get to work. Pick up Sun Sentinel's Career Builder Extra. Find page after page of South Florida's best jobs. This Sunday, only in the Sun Sentinel.
Tonight's NBC lineup is brought to you in part by Marshall's.
NBC Tuesday is the cure for the common comedy. Oh, yeah! Starting at 8/7 Central with an all-new Last Comic Standing.
My girlfriend found out I was messing around with this other chick, so she called my wife.
Then the funny and daring Father of the Bride, the comedy not afraid to take a stand.
I want to be able to marry my life partner here in my hometown.
Oh, Gary.
And get to the bottom of an all-new Scrubs.
What do you think? Miss Colin has a great idea.
All new at 8/7 Central, NBC Tuesday.
Would you dance if I asked you to dance? Would you run and never look back?
Each year, Halt's Children's Hospital brings hope to thousands of sick and injured children.
I can be your hero, baby.
And to other hospitals in need of help. Halt's, the science of healing, the art of caring.
Hi, I'm Bob from FPL with an important storm message.
At FPL, our experienced teams are prepared and practice for any type of storm.
We know that being without power is not easy for you.
If you're affected, rest assured we'll be working round the clock to restore power once the winds calm down.
We care about your family's safety.
So please, avoid standing water, fences, and trees that can be energized by downlines. If you see a downline, stay away and call us at 1-800-4OUTAGE.
We're prepared and ready to go.
Ed Moore's Sawgrass Auto Mall presents one-stop shopping on over 22 acres of Buicks, Cadillacs, Chevrolets, Pontiacs, GMCs, and used vehicles. Buy now for savings up to $10,000 or get 0% financing. And for the fastest service, it's Ed Moore's, of course, with 52 service bays. Save today at Ed Moore's Sawgrass Auto Mall on Sunrise Boulevard, just east of the Sawgrass Expressway, Sunrise.
Sugar Ray's Mark McGrath joins Dana Devon as Extra's new co-host, starting next Monday.
Then at 7:30 on Access Hollywood.
The latest wave of idol auditions gone wrong.
Extra Access Hollywood, your NBC Entertainment Hour.
This week, shipping, nuclear plants, railroads, air travel. Security's been improved since 9/11, but more things can be done right now. Why aren't we doing them? 12 ways to make America safer. A special series, NBC Nightly News this week.
First Alert Doppler 6 is brought to you exclusively by the Miccosukee Tribe of Indians of Florida.
All right, here we go, everybody. Let's talk about our local weather. First of all, today, well, we've had some of those quick passing rain bands are actually located south of tropical, that is Storm Francis, weakening to our north, and all day long we've had some sunshine. And if you got some of those showers, man, the winds picked up to about 40 miles per hour, gust to 40, and it looks like it's about to happen again. Here is Broward County. Notice these showers over the Everglades traversing in our direction. So if you live in Pembroke Pines, Miramar, also up towards Coral Springs, there's a shot over the next couple of hours. You're going to get some of these gusty winds and also a thunderstorm or a few showers. And as we go off to the south, this is Miami-Dade County. A couple of those quick passing showers entering Hialeah and north of Doral. The high temperature today was 90 degrees. Now I want to show you where Tropical Storm Francis is. It actually made landfall at about 2 o'clock this afternoon with top winds at 65 miles per hour, now down to 45 miles per hour, moving off to the north. So this is basically just going to be a rainstorm for the panhandle of Florida into Georgia, South Carolina, and points north as it continues to track away from our direction. Goodbye and good riddance. But now we're going to be focusing on Hurricane Ivan. Notice where Ivan is in proximity to South Florida, still about 1,700 miles away. This has actually gone through some weakening today. The winds have gone down to 105 miles per hour from a Cat 4 to a Cat 2, and it is located about 300 miles to the east of the islands. The reason why it's weakening, there's an upper level low out ahead of it, which is sharing it at this particular time, but it is expected to actually pick up strength over the next several days. Now, I want to show you the track tomorrow, punching through the islands, and on Wednesday going south of Puerto Rico, coming close to Hispaniola on Thursday, and Haiti. And then after that, high pressure is located to the north. If the high stays very strong, then it could go off to our south. If it's weak, it could actually turn. So notice the ellipse right now, taking it anywhere east of the Bahamas to western sections of Cuba. So anywhere in here. So again, right now it is not a threat, but it could become a threat later in the week. We're just going to have to watch it very closely. You should definitely stay informed and restock your hurricane supplies. Let's go to the 6-day forecast. Breezy, some passing showers on Tuesday, a few storms Wednesday and Thursday, drying out really Friday, Saturday, and there's the potential sometime Saturday into Sunday of next weekend. That's your 6-day forecast. Let's toss it to Hank Texter.
Well, thanks a lot, John, and great job during all this hurricane calamity we've had here. Really tough to put a dollar figure on the Miami tourism business, what was lost over the last 4 days where businesses were shut down and travelers couldn't get here. Here's the story. After being banned for 4 days, Francis meant tough going for restaurants and hotels.
Dollar-wise, it's actually hurting us right now. You know, to take a big hit like China Grill hopefully will have open tomorrow night, but that's almost a week of business that we've lost.
The China Grill's problem, parts for the kitchen exhaust can't be delivered because of Francis. And there's more.
Half of our hotel rooms were in the evacuation area. it will be clearly tens of millions of dollars both for the hotels and for restaurants and for retail and attractions, the whole tourism infrastructure.
Mid-size hotels talk about $100,000 weekend loss on rooms alone.
When you lose a Labor Day weekend, a Memorial Day weekend, you know, big weekends like that where there's an evacuation, you know, it hurts.
You want to see the dramatic impact of Hurricane Francis on the tourism business? Check this out. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cruise ships, all in port because of the weather. Ships rerouted, cruises canceled, shortened itineraries. Hurricane Francis, a mega-dollar drain on Florida's $50 billion tourism industry.
The bad news is we here are in the tropics. And the good news is we're in the tropics. And that's why people come here. I think there's an expectation that these things happen, but the Miami brand has never been in better shape. I think you see the quotes from tourists who were in the shelters, you know, I'll be back.
We'll put a dollar figure on it for you. One convention was canceled, and that was a $2 million hit for the Miami Beach area. Reporting live, I'm Hank Tester, NBC 6. Coming up next on NBC 6 Sports.
Experience counts. If your loved one has been abused or neglected in a nursing home, do something about it. Call the attorneys with more than 19 years of personal injury experience. No recovery, no fee. 877-4ELDERS.
What are today's hot careers? Where are the good-paying jobs? Find out here in the American Intercontinental University Hot Careers and How to Get One guide.
It lists career opportunities in visual communications, computer information management, and business administration.
Call now to set up an appointment and get your free Hot Careers guide. You'll also find out about scholarships, financial aid, and job placement assistance.
Call 888-876-3300 now. That's 888-876-3300.
We're in an era where
Welcome back to sports. The Dolphins trimming their roster, wrapping up the preseason, and apparently making those last-minute decisions. Today, our partners at the Sun-Sentinel reporting Coach Dave Wannstedt has chosen his QB. It is reported Jay Fiedler will start against Tennessee Sunday in the season opener. Coach Wannstedt is content with his team's progress and thinks they are ready for the regular season.
I feel good that you know, we've played pretty consistent defense throughout the preseason. You know, I was real encouraged by the improvement the last game in our running game, and I think that because of our offensive line. You know, I mean, our offensive line has made some improvement, and they're going to get better week after week.
A lot of players upset because Hurricane Francis doused UM's Monday Night Football debut. Instead, the team will wait until Friday night to face arch rival Florida State at the Orange Bowl. But this afternoon, the Canes back on the practice field, wasting none of the extra time to prepare for the matchup.
Gives us a few more opportunities to get ourselves ready, and I just thought, hey, no regrets. Let's do everything we can to be the best we can.
I mean, we can't cry with spilled milk. I mean, we weren't allowed to play today, so I mean, Friday it is. We just got to go out there and take care of our business on Friday.
And the Marlins' 7-game winning streak put on hold because of Hurricane Francis. The team's 3-game series at home against the Cubs is postponed. It is expected one game will be played this weekend as part of a doubleheader in Chi-Town. The other 2 games will be played as part of a doubleheader at home.
We are going to lose a home game, and you never want to do that. You like playing at home. You like sleeping in your own bed. You like eating your own food.
We got to win. We got to win these 3 games against the Mets first. I don't think that we can say, all right, we get out of here 2 out of 3, we're good. We got to win all 3 of these, and then go to Chicago and win 2.
And after 5 years, Tiger Woods is no longer the top golfer in the world. Vijay Singh claims the top spot with the win at the Deutsche Bank Championship today. That's it for sports. Now back to you guys.
Good night. We'll see you at 11.
Good night.
Thank you for making NBC 6 your choice for news. Join Tony Segredo and Jackie Nesproll for NBC 6 News at 11. And for news 24 hours a day, log on to NBC6.net or listen to us on 87.7 FM.